This is the only video you ever need to watch to explain how offset accounts work and revolving credit. So I'm going to cover offset accounts and the difference between them compared to a revolving credit, and then frequently asked questions that I get about these accounts. So we're going to start off with this being your whole mortgage. So you can see that there is $800,000 in fixed, or $840,000 in fixed, and a total of a $900,000 mortgage, which means you are having part of your mortgage on this revolving credit or offset account. And I'm going to start with an offset account because it's easier to explain. So we're forgetting about the rest of the mortgage. That's fixed. We don't care about that. We care about this. So at the moment, you owe the bank $60,000. That costs you $356 every single month. Now, if you had no money to offset it, then you probably shouldn't have one of these accounts because that's going to be charged at a higher interest rate, the floating rate, and it might be better to fix it. But if you had money in separate accounts and you're with the same bank for different reasons, so you might have $20,000 for a holiday, you might have $10,000 for emergencies, and you might have $30,000 for a car. If you link these accounts together, the total amount, in this case is $60,000, will offset that payment of $60,000. So you're like, sweet, I saved $356 in interest. And you're thinking, well, cool, but why wouldn't I just pay that off? Well, the benefit of having an offset account is you can still use this money. So if you take out $10,000 for emergency, then obviously $10,000 is missing. So you're still offsetting $50,000, you're just paying interest on $10,000. So this account would not cost you $356. Now, the tricky part and the difference between a revolving credit, or one of the main differences, is that you can't have multiple accounts when you have a revolving credit. The offset will let you have multiple accounts. Some banks will let you have up to 50 to 100 accounts. Revolving credit is just literally one main account where all your money has to be able to have that same benefit, which might not suit some people because they want to have different accounts labeled and it makes it more organized. Whereas other people might just like having one account for everything. They put all their money in there and they don't really care. The problem you might have is not every bank offers these accounts. Some will do just revolving credits, some will just do offsets. I think there's one that does both. So that might be a decision that you choose when you're refinancing your mortgage to a different bank or when you're purchasing, and having a broker like myself to explain the differences that suit your situation is really, really important. And just to complicate things, there's also something called a reducing offset account or revolving credit, or an interest only one. And the difference being is that, let's say you've got your $60,000 in this account, you're offsetting 100% of the interest. If it's an interest only version, then basically this payment will be zero. You won't make any payment at all because it's fully offset. If it's a principal and interest version, which basically means a reducing version, then there will still be this payment, but it will go 100% to the loan amount, so to the principal. So it's called a reducing version because that $60,000 that you started with will go down by that amount, the repayment, every single month if it's 100% full. And that's why, again, some banks offer this, some banks don't. It's important to choose which one suits you, because sometimes people think, oh, sweet, I'm saving $356 per month. There's no repayment associated with this account. But that would be wrong if you choose the reducing version. So that's really important. Some of the frequently asked questions that I get about this is, what happens if I've got more than $60,000 and I link them all together? So let's just say you've got $120,000 in a $60,000 account. There is no extra benefit. There's no penalties and there's no extra benefit. So you're probably better off putting this $60,000 somewhere else where it can earn you a higher interest or higher growth, or invest it. Or you could increase your limit to equal closer to $120,000. Another frequently asked question that I get is, what are the fees associated with these accounts? And every bank has different rules and fees. It's usually $12.50 at one bank, and at some of the others it's free per month. But realistically, you need to make sure that is it going to be worth you saving $356 per month to pay $12.50, worst case scenario in this example. The tricky thing about these accounts is once you've figured out and understand them, because they are complicated, is how do you set one up? We do it for you as a mortgage broker, and the trickiest thing is what limit do we set? Because if you've got no money and you tell me that you want a $60,000 offset, I'd be like, why? Because that's just gonna cost you more money. But if you had $40,000, then the safe option would be like, well, let's set up a $40,000 revolving credit or offset limit. The tricky thing though is if you earn a lot of money and you know that every single month you're going to be saving $5,000, for example, then maybe we give you a little bit of an allowance and a goal for you to save towards, which is the trickiest thing. So lots for you to think about. If you found this helpful, please let me know. Share this video with people, probably your partner, to help understand it, to see whether or not it's worthwhile. A lot of times when you're a first home buyer, this just is way too complicated, and obviously you don't have any money because you just spent it on the deposit, so it may not suit you at the beginning of your mortgage, but maybe 5 years later you set one up, or when you refinance to another bank, you do it to one that suits you a bit better, because a lot of people, again, just walk into their bank and think every bank's the same, which is incorrect, and then they don't have all these fun options. So yeah, thanks for watching.